The truth about quiet people? Not everyone's ready to understand it. Because their silence isn't empty, it's layered. It's full. It speaks, but only to the ones who know how to listen. Quiet people don't need to be loud. They already carry full conversations in their head. You'll never catch them needing to prove a point. While others argue to be heard, they sit back and process everything, every word, every tone, every motive. They're not zoning out, they're zooming in. Their mind is loud. Ideas clash, doubts echo, memories replay, futures imagined. So when they finally speak, it's not by accident. They've already had the conversation, twice, in their head. That's why when quiet people say something, it often hits different. They're quiet, not clueless. If anything, they remember way more than you think. Don't confuse silence with indifference. Quiet people notice things you missed. The slight change in your tone. The glance you thought no one caught. The word you said without meaning to. They store it, not to use it against you, just because they feel it deeper. They carry details like fingerprints, invisible to most, but unforgettable to them. So don't assume they're not paying attention. They probably remember conversations you forgot ever happened. People think they're quiet because they're shy. No, they've just seen too much. They've been through the loud. They've seen what happens when people talk before thinking. They've been burned by words they never said, and haunted by ones they did. So now they choose silence. Not because they're scared, but because they know better. They've learned that not every thought deserves a mic, and not every crowd deserves your energy. So they save their words, and their peace. They're like a book with no title. You won't get them at a glance. You have to stay, flip the pages, and read between the lines. You can't figure them out in one conversation. They don't offer a trailer. No catchy summary, because their story's not for skimming. You've got to stay long enough to feel the weight of their words. The pauses, the silences between sentences, they're layered, complex. You either give them time, or you miss everything worth knowing. So if you're only here for the surface, don't be surprised if they never let you in. The deepest pain often hides behind the calmest smile. Some people laugh the hardest, because that's how they silence the ache. That smile? It's not always joy. Sometimes, it's a shield. They've learned to show strength even when they're falling apart. Because the world doesn't slow down for pain. So they keep going. Wearing a smile that says, "I'm fine," louder than any scream ever could. But if you look close, you'll see it. That 1 second when the smile fades, and the truth flashes through. That's the moment they hope no one notices. If you really want to know how they feel, look into their eyes. That's where the truth lives. Words can lie, smiles can fake, but the eyes? They don't know how to pretend. In that glance that lingers too long, in the way they look away too fast. That's where the truth is. Not in the sentences they speak, but in the silence between them. So if you really want to understand someone, don't just listen. Look, because the eyes tell the story they're too tired to repeat.
Thank you for spending a few minutes with me today. If this resonated with you, hit like and follow. I've got more thoughts, truths, and stories coming your way.